Welcome back to A Game of Fangs and Thrones. My name's Hannah, and this is my Vampathon TBR slash Camp Weekendween as well, if I can get to it. Now, the Vampathon is a readathon created by Jodie and a couple of other people, and specialising in vampy or witchy vibe books. Quite a few of these books that I have in front of me do fit the witchy vibe part of it. I have my bingo board in my bullet journal right here, as well as the prompts for Weekendween. So what I'm going so dates. The Vampathon runs from the 25th of October to the 31st. So that last week of October is Vampathon. The Camp Weekendween is the weekend of Halloween, so the 29th to the 31st. Let me just double check. Yep, 29th to the 31st. So, if you saw my October TBR video, or the main one, you'll know that some of these books featured on there as well. So I'm going to do Vampathon a little bit differently. When I finish my current read, which it doesn't fit any of the prompts, I'm going to start my Vampathon books, but start them with the books that were on the original TBR, if that makes sense. And the Weekendween books, I'm just going to see if I can fit. I'm just going to do that whenever, because this is for fun anyway, and I'm away. I'm off on the Friday, off from work, but I do have a nail appointment, and I'm going for a spa break with my sister and my mum, so that takes up that day and most of Saturday as well. So we'll just try to fit the books to the prompts to the books. I'm not doubling up for Vampathon, but I will probably be doubling up for Weekendween. And Camp Weekendween was announced by Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte. If I remember, I will have both the announcement videos linked below if you want to check them out. Sorry, I have a bit of hair just here that doesn't know what it wants to do. So let's just crack on. So the first prompt was book to sink your teeth into, and I'm taking that as a vampire book or a big book, but I have quite a few big books on here already, so I went with a vampire vibe, and that is Mina and the Undead by Amy McCall. New Orleans Fan Fest 1995. Mina's having a summer to die for. She arrives in New Orleans to visit her estranged sister Libby, loves nothing more than a creepy horror movie, and can't wait to explore the city's darkest secrets. The vampire tours, the seedy bars, spooky cemeteries, and disturbing local myths. Mina lands a part-time job at a horror movie mansion and meets Jade? Can never say that. Libby's gorgeous housemate and fellow horror enthusiast. The perfect summer bliss is broken when Mina finds a body of a girl with puncture marks on her neck, clutching a lock of hair that suspiciously resembles Libby's. Someone is replicating New Orleans' most brutal supernatural killings, and Mina must discover the truth and prove her sister's innocence before she becomes the victim of another myth. Vampire vibes, total vampire vibes, and it's New Orleans. So that is that one. This one needs no introduction, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This was already on my October TBR, so it'll probably be one of the first ones I pick up for Vampathon / October, and this fulfills the prompt for paranormal / supernatural romance, and this deals with fae. I can't tell you too much about it because this is a sequel. This is the sequel to A Court of Thorns and Roses. following Feyre as she tries to atone for killing a Fey in wolf form. She does that to feed her family, and as punishment, she is taken to the land of the Fae to be pretty much a captive. But there she falls in love with Tamlin and meets Rysand, and then things happen at the end, and this is obviously the continuation of that, the fallout of that. It's a chunky book, but Miss Mass's writing I find is very easy to read, very accessible. The next prompt was gothic or spooky cover. I think this is quite spooky. Just the black and white old feel to it, and this is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. In the lands of Bethel, where the prophet's word is law, Emmanuel Noah's very existence is blasphemy. Mother's union with an outsider of a different race can cast her once proud family into disgrace. So Emmanuel does her best to worship the Father, follow holy protocol, and lead a life of submission, devotion, and absolute conformity, like all the other women in this settlement. Mishap lures her into the forbidden dark wood, where first prophet once chased and killed 4 powerful witches. The spirit is still lurking there, and they give Emmanuel the journal of her dead mother, who once sought sanctuary in the wood. Emmanuel finds herself struggling to understand how her mother could have consorted with the witches, but begins to learn grim truths about the church and that history, realises the true threat to Bethel is its own darkness, and she starts to understand that if Bethel is to change, it must begin with her. So actually reading the back of that fits for a different a Weekendween prompt, which we'll go over in a minute. So that was the prompt for gothic or spooky cover. The next one, I am cheating a little bit, and that is a vampire book to movie adaptation. I picked up Discovery of Witches. This has an adaptation on Sky, but is a TV show rather than so floppy. So it has an adaptation to a TV show rather than a movie, but this is all just for fun anyway, and I'm bending the prompts. I always bend prompts on readathons and bend dates. But this just says, a world of witches, demons, and vampires, a manuscript which holds the secrets of their past and the key to their future, Diana and Matthew, the forbidden love at the heart of it. And I believe that Diana is a witch struggling with that part of her heritage, and Matthew is a vampire, and they are 2 different species and are forbidden from being together, but obviously that's not going to bother our main 2 characters. And from what I've heard, Deborah Harkness, who wrote this book, is an archivist anyway, and she has made Diana an archivist, so there is some own voices in there. Does own voices work for jobs? I don't know, but either way, I'm looking forward to reading that one. I've had it on my shelf for a long time. The next line of the bingo board starts with a spooky middle grade. So I'm going to be reading The Whitby Witches by Robin Jarvis. When orphans Ben and Janet arrive in their new seaside home, they soon discover that it is a very extraordinary place. And with mysterious creatures on the shore and a deadly beast prowling the streets, it becomes clear that Aunt Alice and her friends are also not quite what they seem. It's just a cute, can I say cute? Spooky? It's a spooky middle grade set in Whitby, which, if you didn't know, was where Count Dracula came to England in the Dracula book, which I will not be reading because that book is hard to read. I have read it, but I'm not reading it again. So we have that one. I do like Whitby. It just has a very, even in the middle of the day, it has an gothic feel to it. The next prompt was spooky graphic novel, manga or comic. I don't really read manga or comic books very much, and I don't think any of my graphic novels fit the theme, so I'll probably just read I'll probably find something witchy on the shelves and slot that in if I have time to track the vlog for what I decide to do on that one. Next one was, if I keep looking down, it's because my bullet journal is just here. So the next one was book with a gothic setting. So I'm going for, sorry, I have a bit of a runny nose, it's not COVID. But I'm going to go for The Deathless Girls by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. Oh, there's a bear in here. And a snake. Cool. Anyway, so I think this is gothic because it is set in Transylvania, featuring the breathtaking origin story of the brides of Dracula. So Lil and Kizzy are 17 and they are captured by the cruel Vampathon. Forced to work as slaves, they are stripped of hope, power and everything they've ever known, until Mira, who is also a captive, gives Lil someone to live for and someone to love. But when the sisters hear of the mythical dragon, more monster than man, who accept girls as gifts, their desperate existence is threatened once more. In this brutal world of dark desire and destiny, the girls must fight to save their own flesh and blood, even if that means accepting a fate beyond death. So, I just read And I Darken, which is a Vlad the Impaler retelling-y type doodah, and in that he is referred to as the dragon, so I think this is where the vampire vibes come into it, and I'm guessing, and I have heard that Lil and Kizzy are Romany Gypsy, and to me, old-time Romany Gypsy is quite a dark romantic vibe anyway. So we have that one, and it's Transylvania. Is there any more gothic than Transylvania? I mean, it doesn't say it in this blurb, but reading between the lines, it's a Dracula retelling, it's the brides of Dracula, it's gonna be Transylvania. Then the next book on the row is Witches Steeped in Gold, which is by Rhiannon Smart. This is the Fairyloot edition, which is why it looks a bit different. And the prompt for this one will fulfill is a supernatural main character. So we have two in this book, Araya and Jasmine. Araya has spent her life in the cell. She's heir to an overthrown and magically gifted dynasty, exiled from the island nation of Akia. But every day brings her closer to freedom and vengeance. Jasmine grew up dressed in gold with stolen magic at her fingertips. Daughter of the self-crowned Doyen, her existence is a threat to her mother's rule, but Jasmine doesn't want to die. Sworn enemies, the two witches enter a deadly alliance to take down the woman who threatens both their worlds. So, and this cover is just so grim. It looks like a grimoire, which fits perfectly for the month of October. Next line, I have 4 books, so we'll just dive right into them again. So the first prompt on this line was horror book. There are 2 prompts on this line where I'm bending the rules a bit, as I always do. But for horror book, I've gone for House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. It is a horror, according to Hotkey Books' little handy guide at the bottom. Don't think the camera picked that up, but it says, "What's in it? Glamour, horror, unravelling clues to somewhere unknown." So dark, dangerous things happen around the Hollow Sisters ever since they disappeared as children, only to reappear a month later with no memory of what happened to them. Odd, eerie occurrences follow in their wake. Grey, the eldest, goes missing again. Iris and Vivi are left to figure out the mystery, but they aren't the only ones looking. They brush against the supernatural. Iris realises that the world that returned them 10 years ago might just be calling them back. And it's quite a short one as well. Next one is Blood is Used as Magic. We have Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin. This is the finale to the Serpent and Bone, no, not Serpent and Bone, Serpent and Dove trilogy, in which we follow Lou, a witch, and Reed, a witch hunter. Neither one knows what the other one is at the start of the book, and they are joined in holy matrimony. Now, Lou is on the run. She doesn't use her magic because she's trying to escape her coven and the deadly destiny that her mother has set in store. So this is the finale to that. It's so shiny. You know I'm excited for something when I buy the whole series in hardcover. I got the first book from Fairy Loot, so that's why. But all that one is just a normal one. Then we have a thriller / murder mystery, and I'm going for Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. There's not much I can tell you about this one other than Margot just lives with her and her single mother. No, there's no answers to the questions, no history, just the two of them. Struggling to get along, but that's not enough for Margot. She wants family, she wants a past, so she finds a photograph pointing her to a town called Feline. But when Margot gets there, it's not what she bargained for. Is it ever? Margot's mother left for a reason, but what? Was it to hide her past, or was it to protect Margot? I think this has a bit of a mystery element to it, and from what I remember of Wilder Girls, that was a thriller. It was spooky and eerie and so weirdly good. Weird good. Next prompt is book that frightens you. Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. This frightens me for 2 reasons. One, this is a chunky monkey. I think it's over 900 pages. And the other is because Mr. Kristoff does not believe in happy endings. So this follows Gabriel de Leon, who is half man, half monster, and the last remaining Silver Saint, a sworn brother of the Holy Silver Order, dedicated to defending the realm of the creatures of the night, who have taken over in the last 3 decades. Vampires wage war against humanity, building their eternal empire as they tear down our own, because it has been 27 long years since the last sunrise. And this is a Grail book, so I think Gabriel is going to be on the hunt for the Holy Grail, despite being captured by the very thing he's been taught to hate. And the last row, again, has 4 prompts, but one I have left blank for now. We have Blood on the Cover, Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. This is a zombie book where trained at Miss Preston's School for Combat for Negro girls in both weaponry and etiquette, Jane McKean is poised for a successful career protecting the wealthy from the encroaching plague of Walking Dead. But when families begin to go missing, Jane uncovers a conspiracy that pits her against some powerful enemies. Sent far from home, Jane will need all of her resourcefulness, wit and strength of character to survive. So I'm guessing in this one, we, instead of Jim Crow laws, we may have the divide of the POC characters being lesser, but still being taught. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've heard anything about this one, but I am interested. And it's zombies. It's historical fiction with zombies. Next prompt was read a book in the dark, so I may double up. I know I said I wasn't going to, but I may double up and just start one of these at night, maybe one of the shorter ones or even the middle grade. But I'm leaving that one open. I might just take that off it when I do it with a book that I've already got on the TBR. Then we have Witchy Vibes, and this is the Age of Witches by Louisa Morgan. Something about that cover. Anyway, in 1692, Bridget Bishop was hanged as a witch. 200 years later, her legacy lives on in the scions? I can never say that. Of 2 very different lines. One dedicated to using their powers to heal and help the men in need. the other determined to grasp power for themselves. This clash will play out in the fate of Alice, a young woman in Gilded Age, New York, who finds herself a pawn in the family struggle for supremacy. She'll need to claim her own power to save herself and resist succumbing to the darkness that threatens to overcome them all. Now, doesn't that sound eerie? And the last one was set in a school. Prompt was set in a school. We have Hexed by Julia Tufts. This is Tufts. This is a witchy book. Jessie Jones has just discovered she has powers, real powers, but can she use them to take down the toxic boys who rule her school, or is she totally hexed? So, witchy and schooly. So, that's my book choices for Vampathon. So now we go on to Camp Weekendween, and again I am going to try and read all of these from Friday to Sunday, but Friday I am off, so I do have some reading time there, but it will probably be spent with my mum and sister, so I don't really want to read. They don't mind, but I'd rather spend the time with them anyway. So we have green cover. So I have two choices for this one. We have Witches Steeped in Gold and Akamath. Whichever one I'm reading closer to the weekend will get put on that prompt. Read a book with a group of teenage MCs. So, depending on how old everybody is, but I have quite a few. I think most of these are YA anyway. So we have Dread Nation, Burn Our Bodies Down Until I Find Out How Old Margot Is. Same with House of Hollow. The only one I'm actually sure is probably going to be teenaged is Deathless Girls and Hexed. So I'll probably use one of these, unless I read one of these at the weekend. Slasher, thriller, mystery, horror. So with this one, I'm going to go for The Year of the Witching, and possibly, we'll go for Year of the Witching unless something else tells me otherwise. So it'll be Year of the Witching or Burn Our Bodies Down or House of Hollow for that prompt. And read a book with a camp setting. Year of the Witching. It's the only one I know of so far that has a specific camp that mentions. Because in my brain, settlement. If for some reason in my brain settlement equals camp, I don't know why. I'll probably be wrong, and if it is, I'll read something else. So that's it for these books. So I am challenging myself to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books in 7 days. Wish me luck. That's like two books. That's what, like 2 books a day? And Empire of the Vampires, chunky. So, I guess I'll probably just bend the rules a little bit and start Vampathon whenever I start Hexed, Burn Our Bodies Down, or Akamath, because they were already on the October TBR anyway. But that's it for. Oh, let me know if you're participating in Vampathon. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if you think I'm right to put them in the prompts that I'm putting them in. I mean, I'll probably not change anything, but it's handy to know that I'm always happy to be corrected when it comes to genre, because everything just gets lumped together in my brain. So, and let me know what you're planning on reading for Vampathon if you're partaking, and same with Camp Weekendween if you are interested in that, or just give me some witchy books that you're reading, some the books that you're reading that fit the whole vibe that is October. Give this video a like if you liked it, and hit subscribe if you want to see this and talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.